Hello and welcome to Time for Healing. I'm your host, Marion Porter. I'm here with part 2 of the Medical Marijuana Show. I've got none other than our friend Laurie Zrenda, who runs Thames Valley Relief, the medical marijuana dispensary, one of them in Connecticut.
Yep.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Yay.
Yeah.
So we're going to continue the conversation, and we got a lot of ground to cover. So why don't we start talking about this wonderful healing plant and how it goes about making people better. There's some conditions that they've approved.
Right. The state of Connecticut only allows you to get a medical marijuana card if you have one of these 30-some conditions that the state's approved. So the most popular ones we see probably are cancer, post-traumatic stress disorder, epilepsy, different inflammatory conditions like rheumatoid arthritis, Crohn's disease, irritable bowel, MS, ALS, and there's some conditions that were approved for pediatric patients as well, more severe conditions, but sometimes those under the age of 18 can use it as well.
Really? And so how do they know? How do they know? How do they know what conditions marijuana is going to help?
Yeah, when the law was first passed, the state had 11 conditions in mind, based on studies that have been done and things like that. But Connecticut has a board of physicians that'll meet periodically, and patients can petition to have a particular condition added. So some of the new ones that we had, like Tourette's, just got approved. So someone petitioned to have Tourette's syndrome considered as being part of the medical marijuana program. So the doctors will meet. They'll go over studies that have been done about Tourette's to see if there's any kind of information that would lead them to believe that it could actually help. And if the doctors decide that, yeah, there's enough evidence, I think this condition should be put on the list, then the doctors will make that conclusion, present that to the State Department of Consumer Protection, and then they'll add that to the list of conditions that are allowed in Connecticut.
Amazing. So is it this? So in Connecticut, the conditions that are provided for, is it the same in all the other states?
No, different states are different. Some don't have post-traumatic stress. Some states have chronic pain. We don't have chronic pain in Connecticut. That's something that people are trying to petition for. I think the doctors have a hard time deciding how do you know what's really chronic pain, and how are you going to control that everyone doesn't just want to get a card for, like you said, a sprained ankle or whatever. So they're trying to find a way to put chronic pain in as a condition, although there are a lot of pain conditions that are already in. People who've had back surgeries with nerve damage, other different fibromyalgia is a big one. A lot of people have fibromyalgia, and that's a nerve-type pain condition. So there are some other conditions for pain that are already on the list. They're trying to find a way, I think, to get chronic pain written in a way that it's responsible, and then they'll hopefully get that in there too. So how do they go about saying, okay, so let's just, I don't know, MS. Let's just say MS. So let's just say I have MS and I'm wanting to use marijuana. How do they know what marijuana is going to do for MS? You. How do they know that? Yeah.
I mean, I know they got the studies, but what's involved?
Yeah, when you come into the dispensary anyway, your doctor would register you for the program, and you'd come in and meet with a pharmacist, and we kind of guide you. But for MS, there's a lot of different symptoms. There's muscle spasm. There's anxiety or depression because of the condition that you have. Some people have bladder issues with MS. So there's a lot of different things. So depending on what symptoms you're experiencing, we can kind of steer you in the right direction for which type of plant is going to help you the best. A lot of people don't realize there's not just a marijuana plant. Some people are surprised to find out there's so many different varieties. Just like there's different roses, there's different kinds of marijuana. So
come on, how many different kinds? How many kinds can there be?
Hundreds. Yeah, because they're crossbreeding all the time and making new strains. They'll take 2 plants, breed them, and create a whole new type of plant. Especially they do that a lot with the plants that are high in CBD, because CBD is real effective for certain conditions. So if you have a plant that's got a good CBD level and you breed it with another plant that has a good CBD level, you might create a new strain that has an even higher one. So there's always crossbreeding going on and trying to create new strains that would be ideal for certain situations.
But CBD, that doesn't get you high.
Correct. Right. The CBD that's found in hemp and the CBD that's in marijuana too. Some strains have a lot of CBD, some don't, but CBD doesn't cause a high. So you can inhale or eat as much CBD as you want. The worst that's going to happen probably is you'll get drowsy. The higher doses will make you super relaxed and tired.
So CBD is CBD, whether it's in hemp or it's in marijuana?
That's just a molecule that's in the plant. Yep.
A molecule?
Well, yeah. They call them cannabinoids. But yeah,
What?
CBD is one cannabinoid. THC is another cannabinoid. There's others too. There's, I think they said about something like 80 cannabinoids in the marijuana plant. But some have more effect than others. And THC is the main one, because that's the part of the plant that has the most medicinal effect, but also causes the high. So that's where...
There's 80 cannabinoids in a marijuana plant?
Yeah, there's a lot
How
of
do
different
they
ones.
know? Who's doing the counting?
There's lots of scientists out there doing that stuff, dissecting these plants. I don't know. Yep.
So it's not just, here's a bud, we're going to smoke it? There's more to it than that?
Right. Yeah, when you buy it on the street or back in the day when you were in high school or whatever and someone gave you something, you get what you get and God knows what it is. But now you have choices. I mean, when you come to the dispensary, you can choose, do I want the kind of strain that's going to help me sleep and really take away my pain and help me relax? Do I want the kind of strain that's going to make me feel less anxious and less depressed and more motivated? And, you know, so there's, each plant has its own qualities.
And that's what the breeders are trying to do, is
Right.
to get the one that's... So this is similar to, like, if I have high blood pressure, there's all kinds of different high blood pressure pills out there. If I have, for whatever, like, this is almost like that.
Yeah, in a way.
You know, or like psychiatric meds, they have tons of those.
Yep, sure do.
This is sort of like that.
Yeah, and in general, there's three kinds of plants. There's the indicas, the sativas, and the hybrids. And an indica plant is the type that it kind of grows shorter and bushier in its look, but it has the effect of being a great muscle relaxer, a good pain reliever, makes you drowsy as a side effect though, so it's great for sleep if you have insomnia. The sativa plants grow a little taller and thinner, but they have that more of an uplifted feel to them. People might call it a head high, where you feel good in your mind. It doesn't affect your body quite as much, but in your mind, it makes you feel less anxious and relaxed and happy and motivated. Some people get very creative. People who are songwriters or artists, they love to use a sativa because it just kind of stokes the creativity in them, you know. So different types of plants, you know, those are your two main kinds. They say indicas are more of what we call a body high, I guess. More of a feeling in the body, real relaxation, actually affecting the muscles and actually taking, you know, that pain. I've had people tell me I felt the pain just melt away when I used an indica.
Really?
But when I used a sativa, I knew the pain was there, but I didn't care because I felt great. And it was, the pain was in the back of my mind, not the front of my mind. So they all kind of make you feel a little different. A hybrid strain is a crossbreed of the two. So they'll take a indica plant, they'll take a sativa plant, and they'll breed them. Then you have this new baby plant that has a little bit of qualities of both of its parents. So it has maybe that relaxation and pain relieving effect of the indica, but it has a little more uplifted feel to it. So you're not feeling like you're glued to the couch all day. You have a little more motivation to kind of get up and go. So hybrids are a nice kind of middle of the road blend.
Wow. So let's just say I had high blood pressure, and you know, there's always the pills that you see advertised on the TV. Is it like that, where I would say, oh, well, I would like this particular kind of med? Can I say, oh, I want a strain that does exactly this, and you'll say, oh, this is the strain? How does that work?
In general, yeah, but people react differently to different strains. I've had people be opposite. The indicas revved them up and the sativas made them sleepy. So almost like some people take Benadryl because it really makes them drowsy. Some people take Benadryl and they're wired. Everyone's just made differently, and everyone reacts to different strains differently. So you do have a little bit of an experiment to do when you get your medical marijuana card to try different things and see how it affects you. I could have one person tell me, wow, this strain worked for my migraines so well. And then someone else will tell me, that didn't help me at all. So even it's the same plant and they both have migraines. So it's just a little bit of experimenting. But we can make kind of in general assumptions of how a particular plant's going to make you feel. But every person is so different. You kind of have to find your way a little bit.
Wow. So let's just stick with the MS. So say I have MS. Do you know some strains that would just off the bat good for that?
I would probably choose a product that has CBD and THC in it and it changes. The strains we get change a little bit throughout the months in the dispensary. They'll harvest a particular plant. It'll be here for a while. When the supply is gone, it might be another month before that plant gets harvested again. So we might not have that strain for a month. So things can change a little bit in the dispensary too. So sometimes you have to have a few go-to strains that you know you like. But let's say a CBD THC combination strain, it's nice because CBD is really nice for nerve pain. It's kind of neuroprotective, and MS is a neuropathic type of disease. And then the THC can help with muscle relaxation and the pain and the anxiety and things like that. So that combination is nice for things like cancer and MS, where you have a lot going on. It's not just the fact that you have a disease where you have inflammation, but that disease is causing all kinds of other effects in your life. It's, trickling down to affecting your mood or, all kinds of things.
So then it comes in different forms.
Right.
So for MS, would I want a lotion and to smoke it? So it goes in different places, or I don't know. What am I doing?
Yeah.
What do I do with the marijuana?
Well, for a chronic condition like MS or chronic pain or something like that, you kind of want to have something you can take every day, keep it in your bloodstream, keep the levels going to keep that effect going. So the edible products, capsules, liquids, cookies, something that you'd actually eat, because it has a longer effect. Mm-hmm. Smoking's nice for, wow, I'm really having a bad day. The weather's changing. I can feel it. I'm having more pain than normal. Then a few puffs is nice here and there to kind of just add to that pain relief when you're having a bad day or a moment where you just feel like I need something more than just my normal everyday product. So it just kind of, over time, you'll play with things and figure out what you like the best and what works for you.
Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. So here we are, and it's this magical world of marijuana to treat all sorts of different things. Very, very different than I had thought,
Yeah, and it's tough because they wouldn't be able to make it like a prescription drug in a way because there's so many different varieties, and each time they test a batch, it tests a little bit different because it's a natural plant. So not just the THC and the CBD that we think about and the other cannabinoids, but there's the terpenes in the plant too. Terpenes,
what?
Yeah, terpenes are what give the plant its smell or its flavor. So if an orange has a particular citrusy smell to it. Mm-hmm. We have some strains that smell like grapefruit or orange because they have a lot of the terpene called limonene in them. Limonene is the terpene that's found not only in marijuana, but also in other plants like oranges and grapefruits and things like that. So
how does it get in the marijuana?
It's just a naturally occurring compound in plants. Most plants have terpenes. And so like a lavender plant has a lot of linalool. Linalool is a terpene that's found in marijuana also, but it has a relaxing effect. Like a lot of people like lavender because they find it relaxing.
I drink lavender tea all the time.
So that has a lot of linalool in it.
Linalool?
Yep. And so certain strain, you can also, on the labels of the bottle, and when you get a prescription or not a prescription because we don't call it that in Connecticut. When you get a medical marijuana product, it's going to have a label that the growers put on the bottle, and it has all the lab testing. So it's going to show the level of THC and CBD. It's also going to show the levels of the terpenes.
Like a nutritional label?
Exactly. Yep. So you'll know exactly what you're getting. And if you're looking for a lot of linalool, because you want to relax, you can check the label and see, what's the percentage of that in this one versus this one. So
this is complicated. This is different than going seeing a guy on a corner.
Right.
Because I'm not going to say to the guy on the corner, I need one with a lot of linalool.
Right.
Because he'll give me some linalool, all right?
Yeah, right.
Wow.
Yeah, so if you really want to dive
complicated. Let's dive. Let's talk more about this.
Yep, kind of like wine connoisseurs. They can tell the bouquet of the wine just by smelling it and tasting it and all that. It's the same thing with some people are very particular about the marijuana and how it smells, and because they can tell by the smell how it's going to affect them.
Come on.
Yeah. It's just because of those terpenes.
I must know more about terpenes.
So when I look for when someone says they can't sleep, I'll check which products I have at the time that have more myrcene in them. Myrcene's a terpene that'll cause a lot of drowsiness. If it's over 0.5% myrcene, you're going to feel that drowsiness. So,
I'm feeling drowsy now. I never knew.
Yeah. Yep.
Tell me more of terpenes. Did you know there was a thing called terpenes out there? I bet you didn't know what terpenes were. Well, now you're gonna know. That's what we're looking for?
Yeah, if you want to
So it's
dive
not
in
just
deeper.
indica or sativa or hybrid.
And not just THC and CBD. Yep.
It's terpenes.
Yep. So if someone tells me
dizzy.
they're super depressed, they have cancer or whatever, or they're just, then I look for limonene. Limonene is very uplifting, makes you feel a little more happy. And so if you get a sativa with a lot of limonene, you're feeling pretty happy and motivated. And so, yeah, there's a lot to it if you want to dive in deep.
Let's dive deeper. Tell me more terpenes and what they do.
Trying to think off the top of my head. Caryophyllene is another. That's anti-inflammatory, nice for pain, that sort of thing.
Really?
Yeah. So there's actually, I've seen people online who are buying products that are just terpenes. So it's not going to make you high, but there's like essential oils in a way. Essential oils of lavender would have a lot of linalool. So you can buy just these terpenes in products.
How are they getting this out of the plant?
Well, I'm not a scientist. I don't know how they extract all that stuff, but but they do. And so you can, if you're probably health food stores and I would think would have, just
So
essential oils with
if I want a bottle
terpenes. Linalool.
If I want a bottle of linalool, that's like
We don't sell
a
it
couple
that
of
way.
molecules in each plant is going to have that.
Yeah.
We're going to take out a whole entire crop just to get linalool?
Yeah, I don't know how that all works because
It's fascinating.
But yeah, it's just present in the plants, and you can compare them and see which ones have more of a particular terpene than another, so you can choose what you think might be good for you.
Wow, it's really quite complicated then, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot of
I
trial
want
and
to know
error
if
at
I
first.
want an indica, a sativa, or a hybrid. I want to know how much CBD versus THC, and then
you can look at the terpenes.
is there anything else? Is there
That's
another?
about it. No. There's one cannabinoid, CBN. CBN is like CBD and THC, but it's another more, it's not as found in as high levels, but CBN is super drowsy. So if you really want to sleep, you look for something. We don't have too many products that have a real significant amount of CBN, but when we do, that's really great for the insomnia people.
CBN.
Yep.
It's dizzying.
Yeah, there's a lot, and so
I
much
would have
more.
never thought. It's really. So this is, in knowing all of these things, this is what makes it medicinal.
Right. Yep. Really diving into, and we need more studies. There definitely has to be more stuff done to really, be able to pinpoint better therapies for people. But
So how long have they been looking into these parts of marijuana? Because, if we go back a long time to high school, I never knew of any of this. It was, you got what you got. Not that
Yeah.
I ever did it. I'm just making a story. But no, you never considered any of this. No one ever
Yeah.
did. Who would?
right.
But now there's all of this. What happened between then and now
Yeah,
to
it was
make
really
it like
kind
this?
of in the 80s. They really started diving into finding these cannabinoids and things, and they kind of discovered that you have what they call an endocannabinoid system in your body.
Wait, what? What?
So we have a system of receptors in our body, and they call it the endocannabinoid receptors.
We're wired for weed?
Yes, you are. Yep.
You heard it here, folks. We're wired for weed.
We have some naturally occurring cannabinoids in our body.
What?
Yeah. And
How do I access them?
Yeah. So that's what they kind of discovered in the 80s, is this whole endocannabidinoid system. And then
So
they
I have
started
my
really-
own supply?
Yeah.
I can get high on my own
Well,
supply? I'm sorry, I
maybe
had
some
to.
people do. I don't
I
know.
had to. No, but really?
Yeah, that act very similarly to the cannabinoids. There's endogenous chemicals in your body that kind of act that way and work with these receptors. And so,
But in all honesty, then, not to be funny, marijuana is made for people almost.
Yeah, I think so. God knows what he's doing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that. How did they find that out?
Oh, whatever scientists do, I don't know, but they did discover that. That's why some people will come in and say, well, I take a really high dose of morphine, so I'm probably going to need a lot of this. And it's really in a different pathway in your body. It's not working with the opioid receptors. It's working with your endocannabinoid receptors. So it's a different pathway in your body,
There's
the way the drug
opioid
works.
receptors, too?
In your body, yeah.
I have a lot of chocolate receptors.
Yeah, me too. Yep.
I'm sorry. I didn't expect it to be this, I don't want to say complicated, but
Yeah.
this is,
We're learning more all the
there's
time.
a lot
Yeah.
to this.
Yeah. I think the states going medical, the legal states, and there's over 30 of them now in the United States that have legal medical programs, it's really driving the studies, and it's putting it out there. In the beginning, it's really a patient-driven program. When we first started, we were lucky if we saw 6 or 8 people a day in the dispensary. Now we see over 300 a day. And it's because of word of mouth.
300 a day?
Oh yeah, some days worse. Fridays are worse, pushing 500, yeah. It's because it works, and I think word of mouth was probably the best marketing we could have ever done, because once a doctor has a patient that's doing well with medical marijuana, they'll open their mind to saying, wow, maybe this other person would do well with it too. And I think it snowballs. People tell their friends, they tell their family, and little by little the program's grown, and more conditions got added because of it, and it's just really it's been an incredibly patient-driven program, I think.
All I can think of, you see on the TV this drug, that drug, and they'll tell you all about it, and then, forever they're going to tell you how, you're going to die of this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
I swear to God, there was something I was listening to this morning, a drug they're trying to sell that literally will cause death.
Yeah.
And
Such a
why
safer
would you want?
alternative.
Yeah, you're not. This isn't going to cause death. This isn't going to cause, all those conditions that they rattle off now.
Right.
Why would you ever want to take poison when you've got terpenes, if you will? But in all honesty,
Right.
why would you want
Yeah.
big pharma things anymore? Is that why
Yeah,
marijuana is almost being suppressed? Because you're telling me like this great success, and
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's a lot of lobby against it as far as trying to make it federally legal, because the states have it legal, but the federal government still doesn't. So there's a disconnect there between the two types of law.
Now, how can it be legal in a state?
Yeah.
It's legal but not legal. I don't understand that. What is that?
Yeah, the states just stepped out and said, hey, our people want this. This is going to be good for our state, and we're going to do it. And the federal government, one by one, just watched one state after another do it. And they really can't police that. I mean, now that you have over 30 states legal, there's no going back as far as the federal government putting their foot down and saying you can't, really trying to enforce that federal law. But they've been very slow about changing it.
And that's probably big pharma wanting to.
Yeah, I think they have their hand in that.
But why? Why isn't big pharma making marijuana pills as opposed to whatever?
Well, there is a
pills?
prescription that's synthetic THC. So there is a prescription drug. It's called Marinol, that was made by a drug company, and it's marketed to cancer patients who need appetite stimulation and nausea relief.
But does it have all the side effects?
It doesn't have all the terpenes and all the other cannabinoids that marijuana itself has. So people find actually the synthetically derived THC doesn't work as well as the whole plant, as a whole.
And that makes perfect sense.
That drug was approved by the FDA, but it's a synthetic version of THC.
Wow.
So, yeah. And with hemp becoming legal, that's going to open the door for CBD. Right now, CBD is still federally illegal as far as a drug. So there's just a disconnect there.
I can see it at the gas station.
I know. So they passed the Farm Bill, which made hemp legal, and so CBD is a hemp product. But the DEA still classifies it as a controlled substance. So there's just disconnect everywhere.
It's nutty. It's nutty. But so there's so much more to medical marijuana than just, smoking it and getting a pepperoni pizza, apparently. There's really good medicine here.
Right.
And it's safe.
Yep. As long as you're responsible with it. I mean, side effects would be dry mouth, dizziness, little short-term memory loss sometimes when you're high. But,
weight gain?
Yeah, if you eat too much, that could be a problem.
Why?
But I've had people lose weight too. It's weird.
I mean, I've heard people like to eat.
THC is an appetite stimulant.
But why? What is it? What is it that does that?
I'm not sure I could tell you the exact chemical reaction that's going on in your brain that makes you feel hungry from THC, but for people who have AIDS and they're wasting syndrome, people who just don't have the appetite when you're going through chemo and all that, THC is a really good appetite stimulant.
Oh my God, gonna make you want to have that hot dog at 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh, so I've been told.
Right.
Wow. So we're just about out of time. Just flying along.
Yep.
So
there's
at this
dispensaries throughout the state. So if people have questions, they could look for one local to them. We're at
they are throughout the state.
Yeah. But we're in Uncasville. I'm happy to answer questions if anyone ever wants to call us there.
Far out.
Yep.
Far out. So in our last minute here is anything you want to get out. Like what do you love about doing what you do? How about that?
I just love the fact that it is changing people's, not only their health conditions, but their perspective about it. You know, the more people that open their mind to trying it and then finding out that you are in control and you don't have to be high. You can find a product that won't cause a high if you want to use a product with a lot of CBD and very little THC. There's so many options. So people shouldn't close their mind to trying it. And because if they have a condition and they really are suffering, it's definitely worth a try.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's absolutely amazing that there's a stigma out there still about marijuana as being, I think I saw it once referred to as the devil's lettuce. But it is changing people's lives, healing people, and getting people back to being a contribution to society, if you will, as opposed to just being a drug addict.
Right.
Wow. Well, I'm really glad that we had these two shows to maybe change public opinion about medical marijuana and to see just what's involved in this whole process, that it is a wonderful, wonderful medication. And thank you very much for spending some time with me and chatting about this. All right. Well, thank you very much for watching Time for Healing. Look forward to seeing you next month. Take care.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.